Imagine being ordered to erase entire villages from the map, not because they were enemy soldiers, but because someone suspected they might help the resistance. No trials, no warnings, just one command, signed in silence, that condemned tens of thousands to death. This wasn't a rumor. This wasn't propaganda. This was a real World War II order, so horrifying that even after the war ended, governments quietly buried it, hoping the world would never look too closely. Today, we're uncovering what really happened and why this order almost vanished from history. World War II is often remembered through massive battles, famous generals, and clear lines between good and evil. But behind the front lines, far from the cameras and victory speeches, some decisions were made that still make historians uncomfortable. Orders written in cold language, commands that turned ordinary soldiers into executioners, and policies so brutal that, once the war was over, no one wanted to admit they ever existed. This is one of those stories. Before we go deeper, if you're interested in the untold and uncomfortable truths of World War II, make sure you like this video and subscribe to World War. It really helps the channel grow, and it tells YouTube that you want more deep, real history like this. Now, let's get back to the story. In 1941, as Nazi Germany pushed deeper into Eastern Europe, the war began to change. This was no longer just a fight between armies. It became a war against entire populations. Behind the advancing German front lines, resistance groups began to form. Farmers, teachers, students, and even teenagers started sabotaging supply lines, sharing intelligence, and attacking isolated troops. To Nazi leadership, this was unacceptable. They didn't see civilians helping resistance fighters as humans, making desperate choices. They saw them as a disease that needed to be eliminated. That's when the order was drafted. It didn't have a dramatic name, no bold title, just a dry, official document circulated among high-ranking officers. Its message was clear and terrifying. Any area suspected of supporting partisans was to be punished collectively. Entire villages could be destroyed. Men, women, and children were no longer to be treated as civilians. If resistance activity was suspected nearby, the order encouraged speed, brutality, and zero hesitation. Mercy was framed as weakness. What made this order especially horrifying wasn't just what it said, but how it was meant to be carried out. Commanders were given wide freedom to interpret suspicion. No proof was required. A missing German patrol, a cut telephone line, a rumor from an informant. That was enough. Soldiers were told that harsh action would prevent future resistance. In reality, it did the opposite. But by then, the damage was done. Villages across Eastern Europe began to disappear. Eyewitness accounts describe soldiers arriving at dawn. Houses surrounded, people dragged into the streets. Sometimes the men was separated and shot immediately. Sometimes everyone was locked inside barns or churches and set on fire. In other cases, villages were simply erased with explosives and machine gun fire, leaving nothing but ashes and mass graves. These weren't battlefield decisions made in the heat of combat. They were planned punishments, executed under direct orders. Many German soldiers struggled with this. Letters sent home, later discovered by historians, show fear, guilt, and confusion. Some wrote that they no longer recognized themselves. Others justified their actions by repeating the language of the order, calling civilians bandits or enemies in disguise. The system was designed to remove humanity from the equation. As the war dragged on, the scale of these operations grew. Entire regions were marked as hostile zones. Maps were updated not with towns, but with blank spaces. After-action reports spoke of cleansing operations, a word chosen carefully to sound military and necessary. The real numbers were horrifying. Tens of thousands of civilians killed under a policy that barely appeared in public records. So why do more people know about this? After the war, the world demanded justice. Trials were held. Documents were examined. But this order existed in a gray area. It wasn't always signed by the highest leadership. It was often delivered verbally or hidden inside broader directives. Many copies were destroyed as Germany collapsed. Officers denied responsibility, claiming they were following unclear instructions in chaotic conditions. Western governments also had reasons to stay quiet. The Cold War began almost immediately after World War II ended. Former enemies became uneasy allies. Digging too deeply into certain war crimes risked political instability. Some archives were sealed, others were quietly lost. The story didn't disappear completely, but it was fragmented, scattered across survivor testimonies and partial records. For decades, historians debated whether this order was systematic policy or isolated brutality. The truth is uncomfortable. It was both. A deliberate strategy carried out through decentralized violence, designed to leave just enough distance between the paper and the blood. What makes this story even darker is how effective silence was. Survivors were often too traumatized to speak. Entire families were gone. Villages that could have told their stories no longer existed. Without witnesses, history becomes easier to rewrite or erase. Only in recent years have researchers begun piecing the story together again. Declassified documents, personal diaries, mass grave investigations. When combined, they reveal a pattern that can't be ignored. This wasn't random chaos. It was policy-driven terror. And here's the most chilling part. Similar logic has appeared again and again throughout history. Collective punishment, dehumanization, orders written in safe language that hide brutal intent. World War II didn't invent these, but it showed the world how devastating it could be when combined with modern weapons and total war thinking. Stories like this matter, not because they shock us, but because they warn us. They remind us that the most dangerous orders aren't always shouted. Sometimes they're quietly typed, approved, and filed away, while lives are destroyed far from public view. If this story made you think, let us know in the comments. Do you believe some parts of World War II history are still hidden on purpose? Or do you think everything eventually comes out? Your thoughts help keep these conversations alive. And if you found this video powerful, share it with someone who cares about real history, not just the clean versions. The more people who hear these stories, the harder it becomes for them to disappear again. Thanks for watching WorldWarTwoOffical, and we'll see you in the next video.